need to be perfect. Being yourself is perfect. There's no one like you in the world. Just be yourself. That's so unique and amazing.
I mean, you girls learn to grow a thick skin. We've got each other, so that really helps. We surround ourselves with positive people, and you just remember that those people that are being awful, you know, they must be pretty sad themselves to have to do that. So we just ignore it now.
You obviously know.
Even more.
Do you think it was easier for you to deal with it because you had the girls beside you as well?
It made it worse because I was being compared to 3 other girls. I honestly think if I'd have been a solo artist, it wouldn't have been as bad. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But I think because I was with 3 other girls and I was being compared to them, it made people have more of an opinion. So if I'd have been on my own, there's no one to compare me to, do you know what I mean? I don't know, but I found it worse.
Because I think as well, I've interviewed Leanne about a similar thing that she went through. So she was searching out the online hate. Did you guys ever discuss it?
No. I knew it affected Leanne though. She's better at dealing with it than me. Yeah.
How did it affect your own personal relationship with your body image and beauty?
I never had an issue with my weight or the way I looked before X Factor, before social media. And then as soon as I got it, I slowly, mentally started to believe everything that people were saying about me. It just consumed my whole life, every single part of me. Relationships, work, friendships, everything. Eating, like it consumed me.
Because you say very powerfully in the documentary that you started not turning up to work at some points as well.
Yeah.
So when you were at home and you were on your own and you knew that your bandmates were out there, because I think you were in like career at one point when you didn't go, what were you doing and what were you thinking?
The way I used to see it was, if I'm not seen with them, I won't get pictured. So there won't be an article for people to then comment and troll me on. So I was like, if I'm not seen with them as much, people won't have an opinion. But instead, it caused more of an opinion because then there was articles, where's Jessie? Why is she not with the girls?
What was the turning point when you thought you could come back out the house again?
Well, when I got rid of Twitter, I was addicted to social media. My daily routine was waking up 6 o'clock in the morning and typing the worst things I could about myself on Twitter. Because in my brain, I thought, right, this is how I'm gonna deal with it. If I keep reading these, my brain will eventually get so used to seeing them that it ain't gonna affect me anymore, because my brain will just see it and go, oh, I've seen that already, and it won't hurt as much. It didn't help at all. It just made me more and more depressed, made me a completely different person. And I eventually started speaking to a therapist.
I think it's amazing that you can sit here and
Weirdly, when I first started experiencing the panic attacks, I developed a fear of being on my own. So like still now, it's a lot better than it was, but when it first started happening, I kept saying like, if I have a panic attack and I'm on my own, what do I do? I've got nobody to kind of reason with me, and I can't rationalize it in my head, and I can't make sense of it at the time. So if I haven't got anybody with me, what do I do? So like it got to the point where my mum was kind of coming to the studio with me. She was driving to work with me because I just couldn't get in a car on my own. I'd be in a car for 2 seconds and I'd be like, turn it around, I have to go home. Like it would freak me out. I just wouldn't be able to leave the house without feeling normal. And like getting the train, like even now my boyfriend lives in Manchester because obviously he plays for Liverpool. So when he moved, it was just like, it was crap. And then once this started happening, I thought, oh God, this is horrendous. I still can't get the train on my own. Like it freaks me out. I feel really claustrophobic. I just feel uneasy. But like, obviously it was horrendous at one point, and I couldn't even, if my mum was like, I'm going to the shop for a bottle of milk, I'd sweat. Like I'd sweat and I'd panic, and I'd be like, please don't leave me on my own, because the second you leave that door, I'm gonna have a panic attack and I'm on my own. Like, what do I do? And then it got to the point where I was like, right, Mum, you go to the shop, right, and take your phone, and then as soon as you've been gone and I start to feel a bit funny, like, I'll ring you. And I did the same with Alex's mum, Wendy. She's been incredible. Like, it was Christmas time and she was like, I'm gonna go walk the dog and I'll be gone for like 2 minutes, and then I'll take my phone, and if you need me, ring, and I can run back. And I was like, right, okay. And I'd try and stay as long as I could without ringing her, but I'd be like shaking. It was so weird. And she would like say, find something to keep your mind occupied, and like do like paint. So my mum got me these little dolls and I started painting them. I was literally like shaking like this, thinking, don't ring her, you're an adult, come on, you can do it. And it's like battling with your own, like yourself. It's just weird. But the more I did it, the better it got. My best friend Ellie / cousin, she moved in with me and it's obviously helped, and now she can go out with her friends and I'm cool, like I'm all right on my own. Like it sounds ridiculous, but it's almost like I needed to be babysat for a long time. And I still struggle now, like I wouldn't be able to just go somewhere on my own, like get on the train and go somewhere on my own. I just can't do that anymore. From when I look back now to this kind of weird wobble that I had, I never thought I'd be where I am now, because I never thought there was a way out. And then I thought, you can't live your life like that. How am I going to have a career? How am I going to get on stage and perform? How am I going to meet the fans? How am I going to do any of the stuff that I love doing if I don't leave the house? So it was like doing a step by step, like learning to bloody walk again. It was just weird. Once I got out the house a bit more, my mum didn't have to come to work with me anymore, and then I was fine. Then I started travelling on my own. I can get in a car and go to Manchester now and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm still a bit uneasy about the train.
Yeah. I mean, trains aren't for everyone,
But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But yeah, it's just finding coping mechanisms. I'm constantly getting better. I'm constantly not letting it defeat me, and it's just one step at a time, I think. Hard work. I don't know if it's come with being in the industry and knowing that people are constantly looking at me and constantly want a piece of me, or there might be a pap somewhere or something like that. I don't know what triggered it, but it's just happened. When I was going through the physical attacks and the panic attacks, because I think I've always had anxiety. I just don't think it's ever been triggered in a way that it's become like a physical attack. So when it first started happening to me, it was just so scary because I didn't know what was going on. Like, I was ringing doctors, I was ringing everybody like, I'm dying. I've just had a heart attack and survived it. Like I thought I was genuinely, there was something wrong with me. And then the reason I never wanted to speak about it before is because every time someone said, oh, I've got a bit of anxiety or I have a bit of this, it would trigger it and then it would happen. It was almost like speaking about it made it kind of come out. It was like this devil that I was terrified of. But it's just your mind kind of, I guess, trying to prepare yourself for something bad that's going to happen, but it's just odd, I don't know. So what helped me the most, it sounds awful, not saying that I wanted other people to be experiencing it, but like I looked into it and I noticed that Ellie Goulding came out and said that she had bad anxiety and she couldn't get the car to the studio. And I read that Fern Cotton was like on the motorway in her car and she had a physical attack and it was terrifying, and it started to kind of make me feel a bit more normal. I'm a completely different person to what I was a year and a half ago. So when I put that on social media, like I just thought I'm just going to be honest about it. So I'm just really glad I did it, because I do think social media has kind of taken over everyone's lives right now. Like especially the youngins.
Because the crazy thing is we do live in very anxious times because of social media.
Exactly.
But the amazing thing is you view social media as a greater force for greater good, and you're talking about it, it's helping other people. But what is do you have a love-hate relationship with social media?
Oh, of course. On one hand.
Honestly, like, I can't imagine having to do that. Like, we all have moments when we're like, right, we have to cope because of other people.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it for like millions of fans, that can be so daunting, and you've actually got through it, and I just think you're amazing. Oh,
why did I know you were going to make me cry?
I was not.
You made Leanne cry.
No. Oh my God, I'm going to get a reputation.
You actually are.
This is why I've got so much respect for you girls, because you've done so much incredible stuff to help people, and you haven't just sat there, and you could very easily have sat here today and like brushed over all the things that you've gone through. But anyone who watches this is really going to help them. Like, I go through anxious moments, we all go through anxious moments, and like hearing someone like you who's a role model to so many different people, different walks of life and everything, it will just help people so much.
I hope so.
Yeah, and it will. And also,
Good.
even just like, for instance, when you went through and you just came out about your freckles and you were like, yeah, I just want to be really proud about that. That's another amazing thing you've done as well.
Thank
And I think you should take the time to pat yourself on the back, because you've honestly helped so many people, and you can see that in your fan base.
Yeah, I hope so. That's why I did it. So even though a year and a half ago I never thought I'd be in this position, I'm just buzzing that I kind of overcome it.
Yeah. Because we need to realise we're actually in a relationship with ourselves.
Yeah, we are.
But I don't think there's enough of that. Like, we don't realise that. And we're
Yeah.
not like, oh, let's work on my relationship with myself. What are the coping mechanisms for you?
My dog.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Hachi is literally my sanity. Like,
And
if
so cute as well.
I know. When everybody's out, if I've got Hachi, I'm cool. Like, I'm fine. I've got my little
You're
mate. I'm good. He keeps me sane. Talking to a stranger, like, that helps massively. Speaking to someone who has no idea what's going on in your life, you just let it all out. and it's the best feeling in the world. Like therapy for me helped hugely.
And it's amazing you can sit here and not be ashamed about it as well.
No,
because I think a lot
yeah.
of people feel that
At
if they
first
go
I
see a
was.
therapist, they're like, oh
I
my
was
god,
so
the shame.
embarrassed. Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I don't know, because I thought if I tell everybody I've been to therapy, they're going to think I'm nuts. At one point, I thought my mum was going to have to send me somewhere because I was having these dark thoughts. I was thinking differently than the way I would. I'm a very positive, outgoing, bubbly, sunshine person.
Yeah.
So when this happened, it was like from that to that, and I was thinking dark thoughts that was freaking me out, and then the more I thought about it, it would freak me out even more. I just think even if you're feeling a bit down at work, or you're feeling a bit down about things that are going on in your family, or just anything, it's nice to speak to people.
Yeah.
Like it's nice to talk. If you've got a friend or a teacher or just anyone who you know will listen for 5 minutes, it's just the best thing ever to let it out.
It's very empowering as well. People need to realise that anything that you can take on to make yourself feel better, it can be a very empowering experience for you. And you go forward. And there's a really interesting thing that I saw the other day where someone said, if you tell your head to stop doing something, it won't, because if you tell it's just like an organ in your body, because if you tell your heart to stop beating, it won't stop beating.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, and when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense.
And I remember thinking, what about me?
Yeah.
And I remember one of the boys was like, oh, don't kiss her, she's well freckly. And I remember thinking, what the heck? What is wrong with my freckles? And I hated them, and I went home and I was like, Mom, I'm thinking of getting a skin peel. And she was like, what? And I was like, surely they can peel off your skin and put new skin on. And she was like, what is wrong with you? Why are you saying this? And I was like, because the boys want to kiss me because apparently I'm too freckly. And she was like, that is nonsense. She was like, you wait till they all want to kiss you. Nah. My mum always knew I'd be a star.
Oh, she knew it.
She just knew.
She knew it.
And yeah,
now
just
the boys are trying to kiss you,
but
babe.
isn't it awful though that it gives you a complex? Like, and even my scar, like growing up being in the dressing rooms, getting changed in front of all the other girls, and I had this big scar on my stomach, and I just, like, it's just a lot when you're a kid. You think it's the end of the world. You'd think that if you've got freckles or it's something you're insecure about, like scars and everything like that, like it's horrendous. It's the end of the world. Why can't I be normal? Why can't I have a normal stomach? And as you get older, you think, damn, I think it's pretty quirky.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I love freckles. I'm like this in the sun now, trying to get more because I just love them. Whereas when I was a kid, it was different. But I just think when you're a kid, everything's 10 times worse. You worry about the silliest things, like, don't you? So I think age definitely helped me. I've always said you can't please everyone. If I'm trying to please people, why do I have to do something that makes me unhappy, like wearing loads of foundation to make my skin look flawless, when people are still going to say I look shit, and they're going to say, why is she wearing too much makeup? So I may as well just be myself and then let it be that.
Well, I think you're beautiful inside and out.
Do you know what? I'm going to be honest and say the times I actually like pick myself apart and feel miserable is when I get packed in a bikini, or packed in a way that, one, I'm not aware that I'm being packed, and two, it makes me feel dirty. Do you get that? People will be like, oh, you look great. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Do I look like that? And then I'll cry.
Yeah.
Like, I'll actually cry, and I'll be like, I'm hideous, I'm this, I'm this. And it really gets to me. And I have to remind myself that, and then I have to learn to just be like, let it go.
Yeah.
It's a few bad pictures. Who cares? Like, you know?
Yeah.
But it takes a lot to get to that.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Like, if we wear a leotard on stage, like, we're wearing that to move and to feel comfortable.
And also, I feel
Yes,
that.
yes,
I'm wearing it
exactly.
because it makes me feel proud. It makes me feel sexy.
But this is the problem. Like, why do we get scrutinized all the time for literally dressing our age?
Dua Lipa, Rita Ora, there's
Yeah.
so many solo artists that wear leotards, and as soon as they wear them, they're never, like, it's just mad.
But is that because of who we are, like Little Mix, and like having a
don't
younger
know.
fan base? Like, is that why people look at us and think to do that? And we are women, and we want to embrace our bodies, and you know, like, nothing wrong with that.
I wonder why we get scrutinised all the time for what we wear. Like when we're on tour, and we don't stop, like when we're on tour, it's constant, isn't it? Start to finish, we don't stop dancing, we don't stop jumping around, because our main goal for people coming to a Little Mix concert is we put on a show, like the whole shebang. We could easily dress in gowns. We could easily wear tracksuits from top to bottom. But that's not what we're about. Like, we're putting on a huge show. We want to be comfortable. So if you want to come to a Little Mix concert and see us fully clothed, we ain't gonna move. So you either have that or you don't. Does that make sense? But I think it just goes back to the point of being women. I think we just get scrutinized for everything.
Yes.
You breathe.
Yeah.
Scrutinized. So.
It's also just like, we need to stop.
You dealt with trolls online.
I'm not gonna lie, the first 3 years of being in the group, I would look for it. I would search Leanne, oh my God.
Oh, babes. Come here. Oh, hon.
Sorry, oh, pathetic.
No, it's not. It's amazing what you're doing. Game face.
We are here.
We are here.
Right,
You're amazing.
thanks.
So don't worry. We're all here to support you.
Thank you. I would look through Twitter and I would search Leanne from Little Mix, the black girl in Little Mix. I would literally put those in my search engines. And just to see the comments, like, oh, it's honestly, I regret doing that so much, but I mean, I'm here now and I just feel so much stronger, and so no, I don't feel like that anymore. I don't do that anymore. Like, I don't look for it. I want to be someone to, like, she got through that. Like, she was that person, and now, honestly, I'm just so proud of who I am, and like, it's such a good feeling.
Because you've gone on that journey of self-discovery, like we were saying.
Yeah.
And it's difficult because every single person goes through this. Every single person
Exactly.
is confused about their identity,
Yeah.
or they don't feel comfortable in their own skin for
Yeah.
whatever reason it is. And I think it's important to show people that you are just like everyone else.
Yeah.
And you go on that journey.
And you will get there, like, everyone will get there. But it does take time, like, it took me so long. But now I'm just like, honestly, I don't care what anyone has to say about me anymore, and it's just such a good place to be in. But obviously I get upset because, like, I remember that girl, so, but, I mean, I'm still going through things now. Like, you're never like 100% certain, are you? You're never like 100% now. I think there's always going to be some things to kind of get me down and get to me, but
well, we're all on this learning experience together.
exactly.
And you're going to go through the down times as well as the up times. And it's just remembering that everything in life is transient, right?
Exactly.
And you go through these periods in
Yeah.
your life, and it's also made you a stronger person.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so much stronger. So much. And like I say, I don't look for those comments anymore. You cannot do it to yourself.
Because we were just saying.
And then just like that, reality hits you. My reality was feeling lonely while touring to predominantly white countries. I sing to fans who don't see me or hear me or cheer me on. My reality is feeling anxious before fan events and signings because I always feel like I'm the least favoured. My reality is constantly feeling like I have to work 10 times harder and longer to mark my place in the group because my talent alone isn't enough. My reality is wanting to see other artists who I know are so talented but will never get the opportunities I have had because to the industry they are not marketable. But they will get behind someone else with the aspects of black culture the world wants to see, but leave behind the aspects they feel make them unmarketable.
Allies to each other. Given that what has happened recently, is that taking on a whole new meaning to you as well?
Yeah, I think now more than ever, allyship is everything. You know, change doesn't happen unless you have allies. There are so many issues that are finally being talked about, and something is finally being done. I feel like now more than ever, allyship is key to change.
And it's all about using your voice, right, for the greater good, and you guys always do that. How has that changed as you've gone through your career, the power of your own voice and how you've used it?
I think we've always used our platform in positive ways, but I feel like more recently we've maybe gained more confidence in being able to speak up on issues, and I think that's one due to just growing up and maturing and having the confidence to do so. I think it's also being more educated enough to speak up about things. It's also a bit of a fear when you have such a huge platform of doing and saying the right things all the time.
Oh my God.
I wasn't so sure about it, but then I thought maybe when I was younger, if I'd had somebody else speak up about it or have someone else to look up to, it might have helped me. So that was my main reason for doing it, I think.
And are you guys used to being in the public eye yet? And how do you deal with it?
I think we're quite used to it
Yeah.
now, I'd say.
I think you have to learn to have a thick skin. I think it comes with, you know, being in a girl band and being an artist. People want to know what you're doing and what you're up to, which is fine with us because we're very open with our fans and, you know, things like that. I think we cope with it pretty well, and we have each other, luckily. So we experience everything together, and we've always got each other's backs.
I think it's important for me to sort of raise awareness and support LGBT rights for many reasons. One, because it's just common sense. They're normal people like me and you, and they deserve to have equal rights. Secondly, because a lot of our fans are LGBT fans, and I want to make sure that they know that we accept them and celebrate who they are and want them to always be who they are.
Why can't you hold me in last year? Why can't I kiss you on the pavements for life? How are you saying it could be like that? Why can't it be like that? 'Cause I'm yours.
What we're about to do for you guys is really very special to us. Mostly because of how special it is to you, especially the LGBT community. It's important for us to show you all that we love you all so much. It doesn't matter who you are, who you love. We got you, okay? So I want everybody to have your lights up in the air for this one. Show some support and sing at the top of your lungs. Are you ready, Jade? This is Secret Mercy. It's really, really special to us because of the impact it's had on our fans, especially our LGBT fans. Now it's really, really important for us as a group to encourage you to be who you are, always be yourself, and celebrate that because you're amazing. So please, Newcastle, sing this one like you mean it.